You know how everyone praises you for like popularizing the electric car? Well, what you really wanted to do is you wanted to control the electrical grid. You wanted Tesla charging stations to be exclusive to Tesla cars. And now, when people want to go on long trips in electric cars, they have to realize that they really just need a Tesla. I mean, you kind of cornered the market in that because the charging stations are all Tesla. So wow, good job, Elon. That you're going to destroy and stifle creativity, competition, all that kind of stuff. And now the same thing is happening to you in the opposite direction because your $8 Chan app is not really something that Apple wants to associate themselves with, you know? Speaking of bad people, I got another big let them fight coming up here. Oh, hell yes. Hell yes. You might have noticed today Elon Musk went on a flurry of tweets that certainly showed that he's in a good state of mind and everything's great and he's super happy and life is good. That's the vibe you get when you see these kind of things. If we go to one of the early ones, it's oh yeah. Cool. Diet Coke. Cool stuff. There's no excuse for my lack of coasters. Greetings, I'm Musket, Elon Musket. This is such an Elon Musk joke. Such an Elon. Of course, never misses an opportunity for some boot. The quartering is like one of Elon Musk's biggest reply guys. He posted something about how like Thanksgiving dinner is a delectable pleasure of delights or something like that, and immediately the quartering post is like dinner table, family dinner table. He's like, Elon, you promised you'd come. Like again, I don't know what it is about Elon Musk, but he turns his fans into these weird, hypersexual devotees of the highest order. People posting pictures of themselves, like dudes, deep-throating Tesla controllers, licking Tesla tires, all this kind of stuff. And again, is there an equivalent on the left? I can't think of anyone. Like I was saying at the start of the show, like if leftists were fucking, you know, shoving the Communist Manifesto up their ass, being like, oh, does this please you, Daddy Marx? Daddy Marx, have I done good? Like, you'd be like, well, that's weird. Bizarre behavior at that. This is embarrassing. You should have some more pride. This is not going to get anyone to think that the writing of Marx is something that they should look into. This is just really looks like you're kind of wishing that Karl Marx would impregnate you. I mean, that's the vibe I get. I think all of them, like maybe that's why they're all so misogynistic and transphobic because they happen to be cis dudes who can't be impregnated by Elon, and that's where a lot of their anger comes from. That like we're finding intersectional points right here. It's all coming together. Anyways, we have to go to the divorce is going great tweets. Start talking about yeah, the psyops of my own doing. Apple has mostly stopped advertising on Twitter. Do they hate free speech in America? What's going on here, Tim Cook? Now, as you might know, Apple banned Parler from their store at one point, which obviously makes it very difficult for Parler because it's hard to have a lot of people using their app if they can't download the app on iPhones. Now, as a leftist, I do have a massive critique of Apple and of any massive corporation that tries to do things like this. Market dominance, if you will. Monopolies. It's a bad thing. We shouldn't have them. We shouldn't have just a small amount of companies dominating certain fields. There's basically the Apple Store, the Google Play Store, and then the rest if you happen to have a little know-how on how to, you know, have unlocked phones or use Linux-based apps or things like that, right? But there's two main stores, and if those stores don't host your game or app, it can be devastating for the phone mobile market. So Apple does have a very, very unfair amount of power in this regard. So if Apple does decide we're going to drop Twitter, which it now seems like it's in the cards, because yeah, I'm guessing this is kind of a rough spot for Apple, seeing that you're turning this into the fucking crypto Nazi app. Like this is the Nazi divorce app, the $8 Chan, whatever you want to call it. That's what you're turning it into. Anyone who joins Twitter now and starts to, you know, make some waves in politics or talk about anything will notice they're getting filled with a lot more people with the Groiper avatar in their thing. And none of them really know how to play in the battlefield yet. Like they'll laugh at me and be like, oh, you paid $8 and you gave Elon $8. Thanks, comrade. And it's like, you don't understand how any of this works yet, do you? This is really low tier effort. This is much more embarrassing for you to tweet that out than it is for me. I don't even have to reply to it. But either way, who else has Apple censored? During COVID, Apple demanded our apps filter some search terms from being returned. If we did not filter the terms, our apps would not be allowed in the store. Yeah, Yeah, kind of seems again like these monopolies having complete and utter control, like you do, Elon. You know how everyone praises you for like popularizing the electric car? Well, what you really wanted to do is you wanted to control the electrical grid. You wanted Tesla charging stations to be exclusive to Tesla cars. And now, when people want to go on long trips in electric cars, they have to realize that they really just need a Tesla. I mean, you kind of cornered the market in that because the charging stations are all Tesla. So wow, good job, Elon. That you're going to destroy and stifle creativity, competition, all that kind of stuff. And now the same thing is happening to you in the opposite direction because your $8 Chan app is not really something that Apple wants to associate themselves with, you know? Fortnite made a 1984 parody calling out Apple's monopoly. Accurate. I've never seen it.
Today, we celebrate the anniversary of the platform unification directives. For years, they have given us their songs, their labor, their dreams. In exchange, we have taken our tribute, our profits.
Here they come. Well, is that Tim Pool's brother? It is! That's Tim Pool's brother taking the photo! Oh my god. What is this timeline? What is this timeline? I guess we're watching the Timcast when it goes live. Cause what the fuck?
Our control. This power is ours and ours alone. We shall prevail.
Epic Games has defied the App Store monopoly. In retaliation, Apple is blocking Fortnite from 1 billion devices. Join the fight to stop 2020 from becoming 1984. So again, these corporations, they're not taking a stance against, say, capitalism, corporate monopolies, anything that actually creates this. They want to win. If you don't remember, Apple went to war with Adobe Flash back in the day. See, Adobe Flash is an animation software, and if you're too young to know about it, it basically gave a boon of online animations because it could have smaller compressed files back when the internet was a little earlier, and it was really hard to upload big files to a computer, as well as the fact that it had rudimentary animation tools for people who may not be incredibly gifted in animation to start making cartoons and stuff like that. So there was an explosion, thanks to Newgrounds, of all these new animated things, sometimes even copywritten material. Actually, in large part, it would be like, you know, Sonic Murders, Mario style stuff. Flash wasn't running very good on Apple browsers, and Flash was causing complications for Apple. So they took a stance where they said, you know what, we're no longer going to support having Flash animation be available for playing Flash games or watching Flash movies. We're no longer going to support it on our devices. And they went to war with each other. And if you're wondering how that worked out because of how powerful Apple actually is at this point, well, how many of you still remember Flash animation? Like, how many of you still use Flash animation? That's kind of the problem with these massive corporate monopolies. All right, let's listen to yet another neo-Nazi talk about Twitter. Juicy.
Greetings, Laddingtons. This is me checking in. Quick video. I just wanted to say that I was wrong about a year ago when I made a video titled The Decline and Fall of Twitter. Obviously a play on Edward Gibbon's work, The Decline and Fall of the Roman. That's
not completely true. Flash had some extreme security flaws. Well, that was one of the reasons why back then Steve Jobs tried to justify having it not on, right? He was like, there's security flaws and they're not willing to like fix them. And then they both kind of went head to head and everyone was like, I wonder who's going to win this. Is Apple going to win out or is Adobe Flash going to win out?
Empire. Now, I didn't foresee Elon Musk coming in to rescue the whole operation. Earlier this year, I made a video where I was cautiously optimistic about the purchase, and then when he actually bought Twitter, I was still a bit cautious in...
Who is this dude? Well, we don't watch the Golden One too much because he's kind of boring because he's really lowered his power levels. Like, he used to be pretty out and proud neo-Nazi kind of shit, talking about the superiority of the white race as he would play, like, you know, Skyrim, and then, like, you know, in voice chat say things like that. Like, you know, I am killing you because you are Jewish or things like this. But he's really toned down his power levels because he basically wants to hide in plain sight. And so now he just does a lot of, like, tons of dog whistles to his audience, but doesn't actually say anything that edgy anymore. It's just basically like, Laddingtons, you need to work out and get swole so that we can fix everything, if you know what I mean. That kind of stuff, right?
Proclaiming it as a victory for freedom of speech. But now I can only say that he has stuck to his principles of freedom of speech, and I can only salute him for it. So Elon Musk, if you happen to see this, I salute you. Now, of course, when we're talking about...
is this true? Did I already close the Elon Musk thing? I want to see if he tweeted it from an Apple iPhone. Oh, Matt Binder's tweeting out. It has to be true.
Freedom of speech, I also want to salute Andrew Torba of Gab, who has been taking this fight for...
Oh, so if you're wondering why, neo-Nazis are excited and happy about what Elon Musk is doing, it's because he's returning the accounts of people who were previously banned for being neo-Nazis. And so now they're all just like, oh, he's doing exactly what he said he would do. Free speech has returned, but you can all go there and say the N-word simultaneously. It's amazing. Things are so cool now. Even though, like, they're not really paying attention to how the company is just dive bombing in free fall. Like, half the ad revenue being gone. That was 85% of the company's revenue. So that has been halved. And now that shortcoming has to either be met by Elon Musk or other people who are willing to keep funding this clown show, or they have to find some new way of getting revenue. His $8 plan did not work out. That only produces about $488,000 a month. And again, to keep the lights on, it's about $120 million.
Many years now and has never backed down. So keep that in mind, even though we have, revival of Twitter, we shouldn't forget the alt tech that has been with us either. So Gab, still a good...
Also, people like, say, James Lindsay, who is like frequently really trying to get after people for posting pictures of him and one of the head members of the Nexium cult, the child pedophile cult. He gets really mad at people posting that. It's the reason he blocked me. He actually didn't block me at first, because I was one of the first people to really start flooding his replies with that picture, and he would do what he always does. He'd just be like, groomer, okay, groomer. I was like, eventually his fans turned on him, though. Eventually it was his fans who were just like, I hate the Serfs, but like, can you at least address this? This is like super yikesy. And then at that point he blocked me. And then he was like, oh God, they're on to me. He's doing the same thing to Matt Binder right now. Matt Binder started a campaign. We started posting the pictures of him, and again, one of the head members of the child pedophile cult. And then, he blocks him effectively. But now he's doing this kind of like tweeting out, hey, by the way, everyone, can you ignore photos that are appearing in my replies? He's asked Elon Musk for help. I should also add that part. Oh yeah, Sargon's mass blocking. If you post all of his horrifying takes on age of consent, even like smaller accounts, he's just like instant block. But what's wild about all this is that so everything that the right used to say about what they thought Twitter was, they thought Twitter was this kind of like ultra woke company run by SJWs who barely work, and they all just do yoga all day and drink chai tea with lots of soy and all that, and they thought that like this is what Twitter is. They've turned Twitter into the cartoonish version of what they thought it was, where now it's run by a dictator, Elon Musk, who has very, very thin skin, does not like to be made fun of, likes to be epic all the time, and if you make jokes about him or parody him, he bans you. If you happen to go after Andy No, and Andy No has his ear, he'll ban you. Like Chad Loader, gone. And Chad Loader was about to drop a whole bunch of information. Like they were about to drop all of this information about how Twitter, as everyone predicted, was hacked. And in the hack, tons and tons of Twitter accounts have now been obviously corrupted, but he wanted to try and hide and suppress that story. So what better way to do it than to delete accounts that are trying to come out about it? They're all such snowflakes. Every single right-winger who always talked to you about freedom of speech and all that kind of shit, they block instantly because they don't like mean things happening to them. They don't like my feelings. This hurts. I don't like how this feels. It's not nice to have my own, hanging out with one of the head members of a child pedophile ring. Pictures put out there in the front. James Lindsay is currently showcasing his love for free speech by having a meltdown, trying to get followers to mass report me for posting a public photo of him. Report the source of the spam, Matt Binder. Stop the groomer. Report the source of the spamming campaign. With a simple screenshot, I've broken the OK groomer man. The source. Report the source of the spamming. Report the source. Stick with the spamming. Report the source. What a bunch of snowflakes. Y'all, you were the snowflakes all along, you know? Guess how many people I blocked on Twitter? 0. I have not blocked a single person. I take it all, baby. I don't hit that show all replies sometimes because I know what's going to be in there. I know the kind of psychic damage they're trying to unleash on me. But James Lindsay, man, you post pictures that he himself, like, these are public photos. I mean, maybe you shouldn't have been friends with one of the head members of the child pedophile cult. Maybe you shouldn't have done that. That one's kind of a you problem, James. Maybe you shouldn't have taken a bunch of pictures with, again, one of the head members of the child pedophile cult. But you know, you did. They're out there. You said you're friends. Like, you've actually said that you're friends. So that part's not going to be easy. Oh, and by the way, James Lindsay's fans are going after Binder. Cool, but you didn't answer my question. Paid, by the way. Cool, but you didn't answer my question. I assume you don't have any proof that James is affiliated with the group. You're just publishing yellow journalism. The public photo depicts James Lindsay hanging out with one of the closest associates of a convicted child sex trafficker. I posted nothing more than that. If you want to know more, the relationship you asked that James about his, quote, friend. Are you making a definitive claim against James Lindsay? Are you suggesting an accusation? Where was the photo taken? What was the date? Why? Like, there's no one I would go to bat for on the left when pictures like this would have surfaced. I would not sit there and be like, well, could you prove that they're not actually associating with each other? They were posing together and doing, like, you know, the leg spreading. She said I taught him everything he knows. They went on a road trip together. Oh, and also James Lindsay said they're friends. That one too. So. Could be a part of it. But anyways, that's why the fascists are all excited about this. Now, it's fun to laugh at Elon Musk and his absolute and utter failure. And, you know, basically broadcasting in real time how bad he's doing and how billionaires aren't actually all that. But the sadder thing is that Elon Musk is also very rich and famous because he takes a lot of your money. Your being Americans, taxpayer funding money. Elon Musk's boring company ghosts cities across America. The tunnel venture has repeatedly teased local officials with a pledge to solve soul-destroying traffic, only to back out. You see, a lot of cities, major cities, have a lot of problem with traffic. Where I live is no exception. A solution to that, and one that we already have the technology for, is to build trains. Fucking trains. If you build high-speed rail, low-cost rail, all that kind of stuff, you will be able to reduce the amount of traffic because people will be able to take the trains effectively and fast, and they will choose to do that. We have a solution to this problem. We just need to build it. Instead, money is going towards Elon Musk's death holes. Like, these things are deep underground highways that only Teslas can go through. Who in their right mind thought for a second that any of this was a good idea? The unsolicited proposal from Elon Musk's tunnel building venture arrived in January 2020 to the local transportation authority. It felt like finding Willy Wonka's golden ticket. Officials had started planning for a street-level rail connection between booming Ontario International Airport and a commuter train station 4 miles away, with an estimated cost note of $1 billion. For just $45 million, Musk's Boring Co. offered to instead build an underground tunnel through which travelers could zip back and forth in an autonomous electric vehicle. Why spend $1 billion? I've got a $45 million plan for you. Genuine, Bonafide, you know where we're going with this. Dazzled by Boring's boast that he'd revolutionize tunneling and the cash of working with the billionaire head of the EV maker Tesla, the San Bernardino County Transportation Authority dumped plans for a traditional light rail and embraced the futuristic tunnel. When it came time to formalize the partnership and get to work, Boring itself went underground, just as it had done in Maryland, Chicago, Los Angeles. Why, I built tunnels in Maryland, Chicago, and Los Angeles. And boy, that put them on the map. Boring did submit a bid for Ontario by the January 2022 deadline. I'm shocked someone hasn't made it yet. It's so easy. You just need to dub it, you know. Make sure you find someone who gives Phil Hartman the honor he deserves. He's a treasure.
All aboard!
The lever you have pulled, brakes, is not in service.
This is actually freaky. How many things are getting right here?
Are we gonna die, son?
Yeah, but at least we'll take a lot of innocent people with us.
Ultimate respect to Conan O'Brien, by the way. Not a lot of people know this. Conan O'Brien wrote this episode.
I'll take that.
Dad?
And so this is how we can solve the problem with the Hyperloop. I think it's all been laid out there pretty clearly. Yeah, he did a live version of the monorail song. I remember that.
On late night show.
Yeah. I think the thing I get maybe people ask me about the most is this episode of The Simpsons I wrote, the monorail episode, and people Simpsons fans really liked that episode. And,
You wrote it yourself?
well, here's how it works, and you got to be clear about this. I had the idea, and I think drafted a lot of like the major story points about how the first part of the show is a Music Man parody, and the second part is an Irwin Allen parody, and here's what happens. But then you go into a room with the most amazing writers, and I'd start to name them all, but I'll forget someone and they'll hate me. But just incredible Vides and Swartzwelders and Reese and Gene and George Meyer. And you go into this room, Jeff Martin. You go into a room and they all start throwing in great jokes, and so everything ultimately no one can claim sole credit for just about anything on The Simpsons. So,
Oh, that's generous of you to say. That's nice.
Before we begin, is anyone here an investigative reporter?
I am, and she is.
Well, I'd like you to please leave.
Should we take our hidden camera?
Would you?
Let's go, Phil.
Man, this is Elon Musk. Through and through. In less than a month, Elon Musk has driven away half of Twitter's top 100 advertisers. These advertisers account for nearly $2 billion in spending on the platform since 2020. In recent weeks, 50 of the top 100 advertisers have either announced or seemingly stopped advertising on Twitter. These advertisers have accounted for nearly $2 billion in spending on the platform and over $750 million in advertising in 2022 alone. In addition to advertisers that have seemingly stopped all advertising on Twitter as of November 21st, there's an addition 7 advertisers which appear to be slowing the rate of their advertising on the platform to almost nothing. Since 2020, these 7 advertisers have accounted for over $255 million in spending on Twitter and nearly $118 million in advertising in 2022. And so this list, by the way, of companies, now you'll see Ted Cruz and all the right going after these people, being like, oh, we have to fucking cancel them. Let's cancel culture. We're all about the cancel culture now. It just makes sense that brands don't want to associate with the alt-right app because it's kind of like a sketchy place filled with groypers now, so I can see why. It's kind of wild, by the way. I don't know. Like, for a while, ads just stopped on my Twitter, and I was like, oh, well, thank you, Elon Musk. You gave me a ad-free browsing experience. I was not expecting this. And then it's like the floodgates opened up or something, and now it's all these weird-ass, like, I will teach you how to get women, become large, eat only meat, and the next one will be like, crypto is amazing, crypto is future, you want crypto, be rich like me, buy my crypto, and you're just like, oh, what the hell? Oh, are you upset by the crypto? He's just shaking it off. Chico's having himself a little shake. MyPillow CEO Mike Lindell just announced he is writing... Oh, shit. Oh, I think that was a test of the fire alarm. MyPillow CEO Mike Lindell just announced that he's running for Ronna Romney McDaniel for chair of the Republican Party, and Trump has already endorsed him. Get your popcorn ready.
I am 100% running for the RNC chairman against Ronna McDaniel. 100%. I'm all in, Steve. And one of the things that one of the big donors said to me, he said, Mike, everybody wants you to be head of the RNC. Some of them just don't know it yet. I am 100% running.
Cool stuff. Well, that's going to be fun. Again, more fireworks, More infighting, more fireworks, more comedy. Let them fight. Let them all fight. All at once.
Do you enjoy the Serfs but prefer not to have to use your eyeballs? Many are saying this. Well, we've got the solution for you. It's the Serf Times in podcast form. Available on most major podcasting networks now. If you enjoy it, please consider leaving a good review and feedback because it really helps the show out, apparently, and it's free, just like the podcast.
To our gods, Xander Corvus and Peyton L. Juste, we shall spend many a generations building mighty cathedrals in your honor. To our monarch, Tom Spiker, we are but your oafish jesters, here to offer you a laugh at any opportunity. To our brave knights of the Round Table, Rachel K., Izzy Solidarity, Victoria Bell, Sebastian Demel, Mark Harmon, Benji Arney, Scary Earth Human, Tony, DM Rivera, Resident Scarecrow, Sir Nickus, Cheryl Alvarez, Ruby Kelly, Brandon, Words Greenwood, Everything Important, Hegbert Celine, Matthew Scarborough, Stellar Vision, Ariane McCarthy, Doug Cady, Daniel Sutton, Jenna Tao, Dark Puppy, Quiet One 85, Anna Loves Riley, Omni, Riley and Anna, Poodlehawk, Multimondi, Trevbot EXE, Brian Ephraim, Anthropophojack, Catherine, Ramon Acosta, Incosin, Ralph Parler, Violent Orchard, Political Puppy, La Media Panza, Todd Buckingham, and Todd La Jeunesse. We salute our valiant heroes off to fight injustice everywhere.